I, I have seen a little bit of Poznan. I like to run, and in these 3 days, I have run about 30 kilometers. So I have seen 30 kilometers of roads. I've seen some of the parks, like Citadela Park, many small neighborhood parks. I've been running along the river. And first, I'm very happy with Poznan in so many ways. I think it's a very, very nice city. I think that it has the potential to be a world-class city, but it is not yet. And it is a good city. In some areas, it's a very good city, but that is also the main barrier to be great. Because when the cities are good, people are more reluctant to change. You have complacency, and people say, "Oh, we are already good. Why change?" So sometimes it's even more difficult to go from good to great than from bad to great because of that. But I think that Poznan has the potential to be an excellent city. So you must compare yourself with the best cities in the world in everything. The best, say, okay, which cities the same size of Poznan that have similar income level, similar weather, okay, which are the best for walking, which are the best for riding bicycles, for public transit, which has the best parks, which has the best citizen engagement, which has the best trees, everything. And then compare yourself with those. I think that I love that you don't have big buildings. I like density. You need to have dense cities, but it's much more nice to have small buildings, like you have 5 or 6 or 7-story buildings next to each other, and not 40-story buildings far apart. Also, I have seen older adults, I have seen children walking, and I think it's nice. I've seen also people on wheelchairs. I think also it's nice. I think some areas of improvement. Let me talk to you about only 2 big areas of improvement. One, riding bicycles. I think all it takes for you is to go on a plane close by to Copenhagen or to Amsterdam, and you will realize that the facilities in Poznan are horrible. It's very, very dangerous for the cyclists. Yes, you do have some cyclists because the city is almost ideal. It's a small city, mostly it's flat, so it could be perfect. And the weather is great. The summers are not very hot. The winters are not very cold. Even if some people in Poznan think it's cold, is relative. It's not very cold if you compare with Copenhagen. In Copenhagen, 45 out of 100 trips are done on bicycles. Here, less than 5. So it could improve a lot. And so, but what you need to improve cycling, you need to create a minimum grid. You need to create a network that connects all origins and destinations within the city in safe bikeways, in bikeways that are physically separated from the pedestrians and physically separated from the cars. Do not mix pedestrians and bicycles, because the pedestrian is going to be injured. Do not mix bicycles with cars, because then the bicyclist is going to get injured. So you need that grid of protected bikeways. We need to keep in mind, sometimes people say, oh, here in Poznan, everybody drives. No, not everybody drives. If you are under 18, you don't drive. And your only individual mode of mobility, if you are not 18, the individual mode is to walk or to bike. So walking and cycling should be like a human right, a right to safe and enjoyable mobility. Also, many older adults are not driving anymore, but also many young people in Poznan are financially asphyxiated. They don't have money because they are paying their cars. People are spending more than 25% of their income on mobility. They would be spending only 5% if they used walking, cycling, and public transit. And all of a sudden they would have 20% to do other things, to go to the restaurants, to improve their house, and to improve the local economy, or to travel. So one thing to improve that is very mediocre is cycling. I think the other thing to improve is the uses of some of the public spaces. I was in the park, Citadela Park. I think it's good, but it could use better maintenance and maybe some better uses, but especially the river. The river can be magnificent. I think one of the most exciting actions on public space is what is taking place in the rivers all over the world. So there are many, many, many good examples of what to do with the river. 100 years ago, all the cities were given the back on the rivers. Many cities were putting factories on the river and were polluting, putting all of the sewage and dirty water in the river. Now, in the last 20 years, they have been cleaning up the rivers, doing beautiful areas with a very nice area for pedestrians, for cyclists, areas for picnic, areas, they are clean, they pick up the garbage. And I think that in Poznań, I did a few kilometers running on the river, lots and lots of people. But I found, for example, I only saw young people. I didn't see children, I didn't see older adults. I also saw too many young people just drinking alcohol. That's not life. People with their boyfriends, with their girlfriends, instead of enjoying the sun and the river and their friends, is getting drunk. That's not the best use of public space. But there was nothing else to do. So it would be great if there can be lights and if there can be beach volleyball and there can be small courts to play small soccer between 2 and 2, 4 and 4. If there can be a small kiosk where people can actually sit, have more attractions to get the city. This river could be the spinal cord of the city. I think that if you do a magnificent linear park on both sides of the river, that will, wow, take Poznań on another scale from the point of view of world-class cities. You can see cities like Melbourne that has a Yarra River through the middle, and it was horrible 20 years ago, and today is magnificent for all ages, for the family, for the youth, for the children, for the older adults, for the poor, for the rich, for everybody. So there are many, many examples of the river, and that would be a suggestion, to invest in the river as a magnificent public space for everybody in Poznań. And you will clearly, those two actions I think will help take Poznań on another level. Don't be complacent. Don't run into the myth of excellence that because you are good, that's good enough. No, you are good, but you are far from being great. And I said with lots of love that when I said that you are good but far from great, it's because I do want you to be great. And there you have many indicators to be great. You have many, many students, you have lots of knowledge, you got lots of possibilities, so do it.
To jeszcze jedno pytanie, jak widziałby Poznań jako to miasto przyszłości za parę lat? Jak on by chciał je widzieć?
So what do you think, how the Poznań will look like? How would you like to be Poznań in the future, like in a couple of years, if we're talking about this public space?
I would like to see a Poznań with a beautiful linear park on the river, on both sides of the river, where I see people of all ages. I see families, I see young people, I see old people, I see rich, I see poor. I would love to see less love for the car. I think that the car is starting to asphyxiate the city. And you can see beautiful cities like Milan, Italy, used to be beautiful. Now it's horrible because the car is everywhere. It's being on the sidewalks, it's being on the medians, it's being and that it doesn't solve mobility. There is no city. It's very important that the people in Poznań have very clear that there is no city in the world that have solved the issue of mobility through the private car. No city the size of Poznań. The only way to solve it is investing in public transit, in walking, and in bicycling. And people are going to be happier and healthier. And it's going to be good also for economic development because you are going to be able to retain the best people, you are going to be able to attract the best people, and after them it's going to be the best companies, so it's going to be good employment and good for the economy. It's going to be a win-win-win-win. It's going to be good for the environment, for the health, for the economy, for recreation, for mobility, because everything is linked to everything.
Thank you very much.